what I've been doing is creating a system it's reflective. It's reflective of my journey. It's transparent of my journey that I went through, right? And the first flame is about restoration, right? It's about restoring. It's about addressing the trauma, right? It's about naming it and being able to have a safe space to talk about some of the things that you go through. That's basically that first framework. Is like being able to begin to create the agency within yourself to voice what you've been through. What is the trauma, right? Being able to call it out, but also being able to have a support group, right? People that, experience not the same thing, but similar things, right? When you coming from an environment in a community to where, violence is at an all-time high, gun violence at an all-time high, the education system, like those are the things, right? The food structure, food deserts, right? These are the things that, are these factors that kind of create our experiences and our traumas, right? So being able to have a safe space to communicate, what these experiences are and how they kind of change how you view yourself, right? Then I go into the re-identification, right? To re-identify. Now this goes into a space to where, like, I'm not my trauma, right? A lot of us, and for myself, a lot of us identify with our trauma, and that's who, we create a different version of ourselves out of survival, right? I say this all the time to the kids, right? I had to create and become this basketball player. This wasn't who I truly was at heart, but I had to, in order to get out of my family conditions, get out of my community, I had to turn myself into this great basketball player, because that's the only way that I knew that can get me out of what I was currently experiencing, right? So this re-identity, this second flame, kind of goes into that space to where not only can we identify with who we want to be, but who we are, right? At heart, at spirit, in our mind, this internal journey that we go on. Flame 3 is the reimagination. One thing for me, I felt like I always stayed attached to my dream, my imagination, right? I had this dream of becoming a basketball player when I was 5, 6 years old. And I actually walked that dream out. You know what I'm saying? 20, 30 plus years later, I made my dream come true. And it's not a lot of people that can say they made their childhood dreams actually come true. So being able to imagine the possibilities of what that really looks like, and then being able to attach yourself to not just the dream state, but the reality, right? Being able to have something that you can attach to that can make that dream more visible, more touchable. This is where we kind of, develop that piece, that dreaming like a kid, but then also being able to be fearless like that kid to chase that dream. That's that flame, right? The flame 3, reimagining. And then fourth flame is reclaiming, right? This now is the process to where, like, the discipline comes in, where you have to really actually be about what you say you about, right? The accountability, right? And I feel like once you are able to walk through this whole process, this whole journey, now you become this superhero for yourself. Now you're able to manifest the things that you desire within. You're able to bring those things out. So this is the framework, not just of my life, but I've created a system to walk not just the youth through, but I feel like the youthfulness in us adults sometimes has to be re-identified, right? The re is a big thing, right? I have the R, right? The 4 R's, right? And everything started with re, because I feel like it's already in us, but we have to reclaim it. We have to go back and re-identify it, right? We have to restore it because it's stored in us, but it's just been lost due to the trauma that we experience, due to the psychology and how we kind of see things, how we think about, certain things. So that's like the basis about everything that I do. It's through a restorative justice lens. It's through a social emotional lens. Just that learning and that development to have that agency, to have that tool for self. So Tailor for All is built off that identification process that we go through, the many transitions, the transformation that it takes to be the greatest version of yourself, right? Your own GOAT, right? Being the greatest of your all-time self. And that's something that I can say that, my demonstration and what I've been doing, my whole life is transforming and re-identifying myself to who I truly am, to my purpose, to my destiny. And that too is, Tailor for All, crafting and tailoring your own version of your greatest self.